Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Jason is a Social Scientist. By Mouth Daily. Pill number 1044. Excuse me. Excuse me. So it's Pill 1044. You might be wondering what the show is about. Hey, Will Ferrell. Thank you for your support. You might be wondering what the show is about. Hey, Jennifer Nelson Pratt. People often wonder what the show is about. The premise is deceptively simple. I take my HIV medication live on the Book of Face each day in front of friends, family, and strangers. I do so in order to embrace stigma. Hi, Diane Blackburn. Angel J. Morgan, thank you for your support. I take my HIV medication live on the Book of Face each day in front of friends, family, and strangers. I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance, and find support. Vivalva Veg in the Reg. Joe McNamee. I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance. I totally accept your apology. I totally accept your apology. Thank you for apologizing, Joe. I totally forgive you. Evan Carey Janice. Welcome. It's been a little bit. Thank you for your support, sir. What's up? Gene Geyer, much love and respect. Beautiful people of the world. I love that sentiment. Kelsey Moore got her first ultrasound on her baby. Looks like a little duck. Oh. You have to name him Little Duckling. No, but you can call him Little Duckling. Donna Seacrest, missed you. Oh, hello everyone. I don't think I finished what the show is about in case anyone ever rewatches this. Dang it to heck. Rose Montez, hello. Oh. Hey, man. Hey, Joe, I think, I think we all make mistakes, and, being willing to apologize and say I made a mistake is a admirable quality, I think, and I thank you. Chirag, hello. And the good news is the power's back on, so, I don't know. Courtney McCluskey, hello. Dang it. So I think, where was I? I take my HIV medication live on the Book of Face each day in front of friends, family, and strangers. I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance, and find support. There's a lot of people here. Hello, everyone. If I'd have people take only one thing away from this show, it would be the knowledge that HIV is preventable. If you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. They call it PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. The pill is Truvada, and if you're HIV negative, you take it once a day, and it works like a highly effective chemical condom. It prevents HIV. Oh, that's good, Angel. It's always good to get out. But if you're already HIV positive like me, hey Jenna, hey Sidwell. If you're already HIV positive like me, treatment is prevention. By taking my medication every day and maintaining an undetectable viral load, it makes it so I'm not contagious. U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmissible. You could fuck me bareback all day long and never catch HIV from me. And all night long too, because I'm a stallion. It's a brave new world. The future is now. And it's 1969. Free love. So tomorrow is my last day in partial hospitalization. And then I start IOP on Friday. So it goes from 6 hours a day to 4 hours a day. And then Tom Drugan, hello. Good to see you, sir. And then I might go on the waiting list for residential treatment too. Which we'll see how that would go. I don't know though. If I went in residential, I don't even know if I could do the show. Yeah, I could go. It could be a residential would probably be at least a month. And if I can't do I might have no show for a month. Hey, Bodil. Hey, Alicia Logan. Jeff Rosen. Thank you for your support. Yes, intensive IOP. It's intensive outpatient. Right now I'm in PHP, partial hospitalization program. And so that's like similar to the group therapy you get inside the hospital. Ralphie Wiggums is here. Hello. Ada Crandall. Hello. Thank you for your support. April Windrum. Good evening to you. Oh, thank you, Rose. Oh. Oh, they have it for depression and anxiety. And trauma. So, I just, wasn't in a good place before I went into the hospital. I think the support has helped, but things aren't going to change. I'll just go right back into the same unhealthy routine. I don't know. I'm still not feeling. I'm just still feeling really hopeless. I don't know. I know I'd miss all of you too, Evan. And thank you, Rose. I don't know, maybe I will be able to. I don't know if I'll have have access to my phone. Thank you, Ada. That's awesome, Terry. I use Suboxone to get off opiates. I stopped in 2010 when my son was born. So that's really cool. I think you and I, show that, recovery's possible. I'm doing all right, Ralphie. Mary Lee, yay! You got me. What are you gonna do with me now that you got me? You caught me. Hey, Seth McBride. I don't know. I'm apprehensive, Mary Lee, about. I'm glad I'm not gonna be completely done with therapy tomorrow. So I had a family meeting with my wife today, and it went kind of how I expected. It blew up in my face. Hey, Joseph Filosa. Evan, usually the opiates aren't the problem. There's some underlying problem that people are using opiates to numb themselves from. And Tom, that's awesome. You were able to stop drinking too. I forgot I saw that comment. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, it's hard to sometimes see your way out, Courtney, out of that rut. That's awesome, Ada. That's the box one really helped me. Oh yeah, so the meeting sort of blew up my face. The beginning of it was alright, but then as soon as we started talking about the show, it went downhill, and then I think I talked about she was like in anger before. She was demanding a meeting because she wanted to come in there and tell them like what a narcissist I was and how selfish I was, and you know I had already said in my group, you know, like this is what she told me she wants to do, and they're like, you know, and she's like, you know, I'm there to support you, Jason, like it's not, you know, like whatever. But then when she said that, I was just like, that's it, I'm done, you know, because I let her go on and on and on about like all the past things about the show, like rather than focusing on all the compromise they've made lately. That's what my therapist says too, Tom. I think that's like one of the main reasons my therapist, my primary therapist, wants me to do the residential therapy, so I can see how much better my life is. Oh no. Thank you, Evan. I think she thinks the fact that I take up so much of the living space for the show proves what a narcissist I am. Her issues with the show is like mostly that it's in the living room, but you know I think it runs deeper than that. It's more than what she's willing to admit. It embarrasses her. The show embarrasses her. She said as much. She was like worried about other parents and people in the neighborhood seeing the show. I mean, I think people can. There's no shame in using opiates, especially for pain, and I think even people who use them to cope, there's nothing inherently like makes them a bad person, right? You know, like people are usually just hurting some way, either physically or emotionally, if they're using opiates. And no, I think the reason it can be really good to stop is because there are risks, legal and overdose and like just the dependence. Like if you get your supply cut off, like it's really a painful experience. And but people can be really functional. Yeah, you know, and I really have tried to make compromise, you know, like doing the show down here, like now she can come through and go into the kitchen without being on camera. That was her big issue for, you know, like towards the end there, like, or not towards the end, but as we approached Pill 1000, she's like, I've been, you know, and I heard it smatterings of times beforehand too, like her complaining about the show, you know, not being able to come out to the kitchen without being on camera, and so I told, you know, like after I hit Pill 1000, I told her I'll only go up on top of the cupboards and do the show up there on Fridays and Saturdays when you're at work, and then that way it's not interfering with you at all. And that didn't appease her at all. No, I'm glad, Ada. Bill 1044. I appreciate your support, Tom. I mean, I could just do the show from here too. Like, I wouldn't be able to achieve anything like how the show's set up now. It would destroy it if I tried to recreate it. I hope, Joseph. I hope we all get something out of it. It makes it like part of what I get out of it is the fact that it, hopefully helps other people. I do want to or else that's the thing. I do want to have a family. I want it for the boys, and I wish we could make a life together. But I don't know. Mallory Bay, and and here you are spending time with us. Just forget the charting. Just, I don't know. We'll talk some smack here. She hates it, Mary Lee. She thinks it's gaudy and ugly, and thank you, Evan. But it would be harder to attract new people. It's harder to attract new people now just because I only do the show 2 days a week. That's the way to look at it, Mallory Bay. It's true. Yeah, hi to you. No, Terry, the setup's there. It just we're not filming it. That iPad right there. I don't know if you see the little white border. That's an iPad, and that's what I usually film the show from. And there's all the toys that you see up close. And some of the stuff down here, this is what she really wants to get rid of. She wants to get rid of this table, which has my parents' phonograph on it, and the 420 alarm, and the Velvet Underground. I don't know. She wants to get rid of this table, which is like the center of the show. It's like the literal center of the show. I don't know. I don't know anything about crazy energies, but I don't know. Nothing would surprise me. Thanks, Ada. Nick Allen wants to buy a couch. No, come back Friday. I'll sell you a couch. Hey, Sperry, Amanda. Let's see, about 1 a.m. About 1 a.m. Central Time. Usually start about 12:35, 12:40 a.m. Central Time. I'm not, we're sort of at an impasse. I'm sure he's seen my couch before. I love having you, Seth McBride. It films a wide angle, but it's funny when you the iPad itself isn't a wide angle screen, so when you set up the iPad and you're filming live, the end, this, let's see, this much of the screen is cut off where my fingers are, and so you only on the iPad screen, you only see a square. So it's like when I first started doing the show on the iPad and setting up the screen, it set up the borders to to match the iPad screen, and then there would just be these two big chunks. Not, anyway. All right, Nick, are you setting an alarm? All right, Mallory Bay, don't work too hard. Or it's widescreen. It's wide, like a 12:9 format. It's been a hot minute since Jess Miller's been here. I don't know, I was in the hospital, in the psych hospital. And then, what? I was in the psych hospital, and now I'm in the partial hospitalization program, which is like group therapy. I'll try to remember U equals U. I might forget, though. I might forget. No, thank you, Mallory Bay. Free love. Woo! Nice, Nick. Do you want a preview of the couch? Oh, we should wait. We build up the anticipation. It's only 2 nights. Let's see. Have you really never seen the couch, Nick? I can't believe new people are in here. All right, I should just sell the couch now. I have to get my auctioneer hat on, though. This is unprecedented. I don't usually sell the couch on these short shows. Okay. Coming up next, we have lovely lot number 69. It comes in this beautiful shade of light red, and for the lonely troll, that has no friends and makes the winning bid. It opens up to reveal not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but count them 5. 5 trolls. So the lonely troll will be lonely no longer. And it has this beautiful mirror in it. So you can admire yourself, because trolls are known for their vanity. And so the mirror should be irresistible to the lonely troll. All right. But that's not the best part at all. It opens up to reveal not 1, not 2, not 3. Oh no, I already said it doesn't open up, but it comes covered with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but count them 10. 10 cum stains. You can see these crusty areas here. That's all my cum. It's covered in cum. 10 cum stains. All right. So bidding starts at $350. Do I have $350? $350. No, Nick. Bidding starts at $350. All right, JD's got $350. All right, $350. We have $350. $350. Do I have $420? $420. No, I cancel all the bids. Maybe I'll sell it on Friday. Maybe. Terry bid 420. Too late. Too late. Hey, Ciante. Oh, Ada's going to bed. Daniel Frick, you're here with Nick. I call myself the troll whisperer. Hey, Diane. Most of my fans or viewers originally came here to buy a couch, and they came for the couch, but they stayed for the cum. All right. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna sell it, Joseph. Maybe not Friday, but maybe Saturday. That's my auctioneer hat, Mary Lee, the shoe. Ciante likes the tree fitty. Desiree Darling is here. So, for the trolls, and anybody new here? Anybody wondering what the show's about? You want to know about the music? It's this keyboard right here. It's a sampling demo on the keyboard. So whatever you press the microphone button and whatever you say into it, it repeats it, and then it gets woven into this cool beat when you turn on the sampling demo. Yeah, the first time it was about pill 175 or something like that, or maybe a little earlier than that. I was sort of depressed, and I sighed, and I put my head down on the keyboard, and all of a sudden this cool beat started coming out of it, and the last thing I had sampled was "Dang It to Heck," and it was like something, I'd say almost like a tick, and people would say it, say it because I would say it too, like it became almost like a catchphrase, and all of a sudden that woven into this cool beat was "Dang It to Heck," and I just got up dancing. It changed the whole mood of the show, and but then I couldn't figure out how I did it, because there's also a separate demo mode, not the sampling demo, but just the regular demo mode, and it starts off playing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and I was just like so frustrated because I would hit demo, because it says demo mode on the demo tune right there, and I'd hit demo, and "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" would come out. I'm like, what the fuck? And it took me another, another 75 pills or something to, another time, I leaned over the keyboard and I pressed it again, and then I had a better sense of where on the keyboard it was, and I found it. So, Diane, I thought you'd never ask. Now, if I was in my regular set, I don't know if I'll do the short abridged spiel. So, you're wondering what the show is about? People often wonder what the show is about. The premise is deceptively simple. I take my HIV medication live on the Book of Face each day in front of friends, family, and strangers. I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance, and find support. After 1,044 pills, 1,044 shows, a number of bells, whistles, and bows have risen up and around and about the show. The bells, bows, and other people, the people that come back night after night and give me their most valuable resource, their time. To me, that's the most significant thing that's risen up and around and about the show, the community. Therein lies the support that I was looking for. If I'd have people take only one thing away from this show, it would be the knowledge that HIV is preventable. If you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. They call it PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. The pill is Truvada, and if you're HIV negative, you take it once a day, and it works like a highly effective chemical condom. It prevents HIV. But if you're already HIV positive like me, treatment is prevention. By taking my medication every day and maintaining an undetectable viral load, it makes it so I'm not contagious. U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmissible. You could fuck me bareback all day long, and all night long too, because I'm a stallion, and never catch HIV from me. It's a brave new world. The future is now, and it's 1969. Free love. Woo! I caught it through sexual contact, Paulette. Yeah, sexual contact. I said load, right, Terry? So I'm a stallion. Woo! One love. One love and free love. Yeah, I always like to say I caught it by taking a calculated risk, just poorly calculated. Now, the last thing I had heard about HIV, and I should have Google searched it, and when I decided started to take more risks, I should have Googled it because I contracted it in 2015, so PrEP was available, the pill that prevents it, and instead of just like hoping for the best, I could have taken proactive measures to protect myself. But yeah, the last thing I remember learning is that the riskiest form of sex was receptive anal sex. So I always made a guy wear a condom if he fucked me. But there was just a number of occasions, probably 5 or 6, where the guy didn't want me to use a condom, and condoms suck. So I didn't wear one, and it was one of those times. No, I don't drink. I was just horny. But now I know it has a lot more to do with, much more to do with a person's viral load than it does what form of sex they're having. I mean, that's important too, but... yeah, like... I was caught up by being human, not by being drunk. But, so I am bi. The title of the show is Bi Mouth Daily, which it's a pun, right? Because the pill is prescribed bi mouth daily, one pill bi mouth daily. But it's also bi mouth daily. You get to hear from a bisexual mouth on the daily. It doesn't say anything but pill 1044. Pete, and repeat. Oh, too clever by half. My mom, I found out that's the actual saying, but my mom used to say, too cute by half. I think cute meaning clever. I like too cute by half better, I think. But it's a Midwestern bastardization of the phrase too clever by half. Thank you, Siante. So I'm in what condition? By taking, as far as my HIV, taking the pill every day keeps me healthy. There's residual effects from when the before the virus was under control. The virus does damage to your body that it, partially recovers from, but there's persistent immune dysfunction. Like, it's minor, more like nuisance stuff, like skin problems and problems with like yeast, things like common infections that people get, nuisance infections. I'm sure you're not the only one, Amanda. How did I find out? I'm doing okay, Pete. Pete, thanks for asking. I found out by getting tested. The last time I tested negative for HIV was in January of 2015, and the first time I tested positive was August of 2015, and so somewhere in that 8 months or something like that, I contracted the virus and had a few infections like Giardia lamblia, which is like a stomach infection, and then angular cheilitis, which is yeast. Like I said, yeast is real common for an HIV. There's yeast in the corners of my lips. And then finally I got hand, foot, and mouth disease from my son. And it's common for toddlers to get it, but it's, like adults can get it, but it's not very common. And that was like the last straw, and that's when I went and got tested, and I came back positive. No, like, I'll try to listen for it now. Sometimes when you suggest something, like those audio, like what's the, I forget what you call it. There's visual ones too, like where like magic eye tricks kind of thing, illusions, like I don't know, like the Yanni and what is it? Yanni and what? I forget the other thing. Matthew D. Wham, how are you, sir? Oh, Matthew, I love you too. I don't know how I could give anyone strength. Doesn't feel like I have any. What's awkward? Did you hear my wife walk by or something? Diane Connor, you didn't hear that last part of the thing, right? By taking my medication every day and maintaining an undetectable viral load. So like an undetectable viral load means that the medication brings the amount of virus in each drop of blood to an undetectable level. Like they're using their fanciest tests. They can't measure it, and science has proven that when somebody has an undetectable viral load, they can't transmit it. So we could have sex, you and I could have sex, or I could have sex with anybody here, as long as we wanted to, bareback, and you wouldn't catch HIV from me. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Uh, it's like a really, like, for people that have been living with HIV for a long time, it's like, it's a really big relief, I imagine. And for me, it's like, but I was diagnosed in 2015, like right around the time that U equals U was becoming known. And so I never had to live with that fear that I might transmit the virus, or that feel, like it still felt like when I was diagnosed, the immediate feeling I had was just feeling dirty all over, that kind of this dirty that doesn't wash off. But I always like to say U equals U is just really cleansing, but yeah, for the people that have been living with it for a long time, they've always had this like a little cloud over their head, and people that I'm sure that have been people that have been accused of giving the virus to people, and when really the person contracted it somewhere else because they couldn't have contracted it, like the person's been having sex with someone else on the side, and because that did happen in the study of U equals U. A few people that participated contracted HIV, but they can do DNA testing on the virus and can tell where a person contracted it from, and no one participating in the study contracted it from their partner that had HIV in the study. They contracted it from someone else. But yeah, the studies followed couples like my wife and I. My wife is HIV negative and I'm HIV positive. And the HIV negative person couldn't be taking the pill that prevents HIV, because there's a pill that can prevent it, and they couldn't be using condoms or any other protective devices. They just like unprotected sex, and they followed those, like they followed in the partner study. They followed like 1,500 couples, like 800 gay couples and 700 straight couples, something like that. And that one followed them for 2 years, like roughly 50,000 sex acts, and without a single transmission. And then there was partner 2 study that followed, I think, a similar number of people. And then that's like about when U equals U came out. And then there was another study that came out, like even after that, another confirming study that followed. I don't know how many, and this was all gay couples. And I bet they followed them for 8 years. But roughly, between all I think there's been 4 studies that followed couples, like serodiscordant couples, one that's HIV positive, one that's HIV negative. In total, of all the studies, there have been roughly 150,000 anal sex acts between somebody who's living with HIV with an undetectable viral load and their HIV negative partner without a single transmission. So, I could have sex with somebody here 150,000 times. I could fuck somebody here 150,000 times in the ass without any fear of contracting HIV. I think anybody that knows the science can, it takes the fear takes a little while to get over, but I think anybody that really looks at the science wouldn't be afraid. Maybe, Matthew. I never get specifically clear about that. Just say could. I think I have made a sandwich out of her, Terry. Oh, that's terrible. I always like to say, I like to, be the meat in a Brangelina sandwich. Yeah, like the chemical condom is pretty accurate, except it only works for HIV. Well, thank you, Matthew. Condoms aren't 100%, and they don't feel good. People lie about using them. You know, the first thing that, when I was diagnosed with HIV, I met with a prevention specialist. And the very first thing he said to me when I sat down at his desk, he says, "I fucking hate condoms." And I was like, this was like 2 weeks after I was diagnosed with HIV, and I was like, I had to pick my jaw up off the floor, but yeah, there's better ways to protect the pill. You know, you can protect yourself with the pill if you know your partner well, and know that someone's undetectable, and you know, like that's a way of protecting yourself too. And Nick, the pill works. There's a few medications in the pill. I take Biktarvy, and there's Bictravir, emtricitabine, and tenofovir alafenamide. And I don't know which one is which of these medications, but in general, there's like two main classifications of HIV medications, and I forget what they're even called, but they work in two different ways. Like, one medication will blocks the virus from entering the cell. Like, the virus will enter a white blood cell and take it over. And once it takes over the machinery of the cell and makes the white blood cell that's meant to kill it. It turns it into a virus-making machine, and it just pumps out virus until it explodes, and you know, then it releases I don't know how many viruses up to infect another white blood cell. And one medication will prevent them from entering the white blood cell, and then the other medication prevents it from taking over the machinery of the cell and reproducing itself. So one stops it from reproducing, the other one stops it from entering the cell. Side effects are minimal. I don't know. I get nausea a lot, and I don't know if some people get that from the medication, but I feel like I had nausea even before then. No, I don't think they have a cure. I don't think. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist as far as that goes. I mean, they could make a lot of money off a cure too. Hey, Damo. I mean, there's a lot of different cancers out there too. I think some cancers are treatable, more treatable than others. There's lots of cancers that you can treat well. All right, we'll see you soon, Jeff. The preventative medication is just the same medications that are used to treat it, but they give them beforehand. There's also, before there was PrEP, there was PEP, like post-exposure protocol. So if someone was exposed to the virus or thought they were exposed to the virus, they could go in and start a regimen of a month of taking HIV medication, you know, like before you find out if you contracted it or not. And like if you started within the first 72 hours of exposure to the virus, like, I think it can be up to 99% effective of preventing it. But and so I think they're just like, hey, if post-exposure protocol works to prevent it, why don't we, if somebody's really at risk, why don't we just give them the medication beforehand, and that way they'll always just be protected. And PrEP, they only use 2 medications, not the 3. Well, we just sold the couch. We just sold the couch, Ryan. On Fridays and Saturdays, we do the full show. We usually do the full show, like on the original, like on the set. But then weekdays, been doing the show for like an hour and a half. For just I think around 1 a.m. starting at midnight or 1 a.m. My health changed more after the contracting the virus more than from the pill, the medication. I think I haven't noticed a lot of effects. Like it's pretty. A lot of things too, like they can effectively kill cancer in like a petri dish, but not necessarily like when you give it as medication. Yeah, how if I turned my life upside down, and it affected the way I view myself. It affected the way other people view me. It affected how people treated me. Like coworkers turned their back on me, talk smack about me behind my back. Friends turned their back on me. Family turned their back on me. No one reacted the way I wanted. Why I wanted them to, yeah, I don't know. It was just. I think it's still. I'm still reeling from it. I rarely get to my. I should check my message box on here. I don't know if you send it to my personal account, I'm more likely to get it. Ryan wants to know what the show is about. Or no, Shane wants to know what the show is about. Hey, welcome, Shane. Jason is a social scientist. Bi-Mouth Daily, pill number 1044. You were wondering what the show is about? People often wonder what the show is about. The premise is deceptively simple. I take my HIV medication, live on the Book of Face each day, in front of friends, family, and strangers. I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance, and find support. After 1,044 pills, after 1,044 shows, a number of bells, whistles, and bows have risen up and around and about the show. The bells, bows, and other people, the people that come back night after night and give me their most valuable resource, their time. To me, that's the most significant thing that's risen up and around and about the show, the community. Therein lies the support that I was looking for. If I'd have people take only one thing away from this show, it would be the knowledge that HIV is preventable. If you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. They call it PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. The pill is Truvada, and if you're HIV negative, you take it once a day, and it works like a highly effective chemical condom. It prevents HIV. But if you're already HIV positive like me, treatment is prevention. By taking my medication every day and maintaining an undetectable viral load, it makes it so I'm not contagious. U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmissible. You could fuck me bareback all day long. And all night long too, because I'm a stallion. And never catch HIV from me. It's a brave new world. The future is now. And it's 1969. Free love. Woo! That's a cool last name, Mr. Wham. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Joseph, it's my pleasure to answer questions. And as far as being too embarrassed to talk about it, like, and I have this like feeling like you only can be so embarrassed, right? And then like I've reached my maximum amount of embarrassment. So anything that happens beyond that, like it can't get any worse. So. Dang it. I've done a poll on that on the timeline before, like not just with me, but how many people would have sex with someone. I asked it, how many people would conceive a child with someone living with HIV. I don't remember if I mentioned the undetectable viral load or something. And even on here, where I'm teaching people all the time, only around 50% of people said yes. Not if I keep taking my medication, Paulette. That's like that the doubt that people try to instill about you equals you is really unfair. Not like what if they, how do you know that someone's not lying, or how do you know that they didn't miss a dose, and all of a sudden, it's not like you miss one dose and you instantly become contagious. Well, thank you, Laura Brandel. Well, thank you for sharing, Terry. I think there's more embarrassing things than having only one testicle. It's kind of sexy, actually. Anything different? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So like it would take probably weeks before for me to be off the medication and to get anywhere close to being infectious. It's not like birth control though. You can probably miss 10% of your bills. Like, it's not a license to miss medications, but and for me, at least, you can see me take my pill every day, so there's no risk of me having a viral load. I blush pretty easily, Mary Lee. Hey, Jessica. Yeah, I see that a lot on, especially like reactions people get on Grindr and stuff, and I don't go on Grindr anymore, but I used to get that too. I can't take the risk, man. I basically I can't trust that you're really that you're undetectable. When really it's riskier to have sex with somebody that doesn't know their status or hasn't been tested for HIV. It's safer to have sex with somebody with HIV that's taking their medication than it is to a random stranger, because you're not going to catch HIV from the person that's taking their medication. But you certainly could, like the people that are most contagious are the ones that don't know they have the virus because they're not being treated. I probably, it'd be hard on my kidneys and liver. I think if I took more than one dose, probably nothing would happen if I just double dosed once. How did I find out I had it? I said this earlier, but I first tested negative in January of 2015. I first tested positive in August of 2015. And between that time, I had symptoms like just infections like Giardia lamblia, which is like a parasite in my gut. And I got what was it called? Cheilitis, angular cheilitis, which is yeast in the corner of my lips. And then I caught hand, foot, and mouth disease from my son. Kids, toddlers, it's normal for them to get hand, foot, and mouth disease, but adults don't usually get it. And that was the last thing. I was like, okay, I should go get checked out again. And yeah, I had it. And then how did I feel? I felt like my first thought was, oh shit, I'm never gonna have bareback sex again. And then my second thought was, well, fuck, did my wife get it? I think it was in that order too. And then, fortunately, neither of those things were true. I can still have bareback sex, and my wife didn't get it. So, and then the next predominant feeling was just feeling dirty all the time. I just take 2 showers a day, it'd still not feel clean. Let's see, I saw the commercial on Truvada today, and it says it doesn't always protect you. Yeah, I take Biktarvy. And it's true that Truvada, I think there's been out of the, I don't know how many people, but it's a lot of people that take it. There's been 3 failures of it. For the 3 failures, there's been 4 failures, and 3 of the failures were because the person contracted a form of the HIV virus that was resistant to one of the ingredients, one or both of the ingredients in Truvada. And so, sort of like antibiotic resistance, if someone doesn't take the pill like they're prescribed, the virus can develop resistance. And so, but that resistance isn't common, and it doesn't and usually it's not with both of the medications or whatever the case may be. There's just the risk is really low. The number of people that have contracted it because of resistant from the virus is only 3 again out of and so it's highly effective, up to 99% effective, just like condoms. But there's been a few cases where and then there was one case where someone contracted it and it wasn't a resistant form, but that one's really an anomaly, and people don't know if the doctors don't know if it's one of the theories is because this was a really highly sexual person. I think they had in the past month or something like that had sex with, or I don't know what period of time, but had sex with over 150 people or something like that. They thought maybe he first developed a localized, because you can have a localized HIV infection, just in the rectal tissue, and that maybe he first got a resistant form and a localized infection of the rectal tissue, and then as the virus grew, he contracted another form that wasn't resistant, and that was the stronger form of the virus, and it eventually grew and took over. my wife's like, my wife's taping up packages. I don't know who gave it to me, or like I don't know who I contracted it from. My own, like I took risks though. It was my own risks that. Yeah, it's pretty legit. It works really well. No, there's no obligation to tell people that you were with in the past. There's depending upon where you live, there's some legal obligations. Depending where the law is where you live, whether you use protection or not. There's a lot of caveats, like whether or not you have to disclose to another person. But the law in a lot of places is recognizing that what this is catching up with the science, and if someone's undetectable, then the moral impetus to disclose is really gone. Like at that point, it's like really a person's individual choice. Like if it becomes like their private medical information, because it really has nothing to do with the other person, because the other person's not at risk. No regrets. I think if I had anything to do all over, I think I'd go way back before the HIV and been more attuned to my parents' health and prevented them from getting sick. How many before you got it? How many what? Well, you can feel how you want, Diane. But I think the law is changing to recognize that people aren't at risk, and I feel like it really is a personal decision. So you can feel more comfortable, over something that really has nothing to do with you, as opposed weighing that, because you want to feel more comfortable weighing that against the risk that, because once a person discloses, you could go tell 1,000 people, you could go put it on the internet, you could, and for some people that could mean being kicked out of their home. It could mean between life and death. Like you could be killed because somebody in their family doesn't approve of people with HIV, or makes assumptions about how they got it. And I think people who disclose put themselves in a lot of risk. I don't put myself at a lot of I put myself at some emotional risk by disclosing, but and I feel comfortable. I feel more comfortable disclosing, but I can understand. I'm not going to judge another person for not disclosing. How many partners did I have? So my first 35 years, I'd been with 7 women and 1 guy. It was I've been in 6 serial monogamous relationships, and had a one night stand with a guy when I was single. And then when I told my wife I wanted to open up my marriage in that next year, so it was 1 man and 7 women the first 35 years, and then from 35 to 37, it was another 100 partners or so, 100 guys and one more woman. My wife was the first person I told. Maybe, no, she's not secretly moving out. Hey, Audra Cohen. Thank you for your support. I sort of had a second adolescence. Like, I didn't have much of an adolescence the first time. I was pretty straight-laced. I don't know, no, 7 before I opened up my marriage, and then probably about that 100 and 100 and then one woman, 100 guys. That was from 2013 to 2015. And then after I was diagnosed, I didn't go on Grindr for a year, and I lived with a guy for a year. I moved out of the house for a year, and he was the first guy I had sex with after I was diagnosed. And then, like I said, I couldn't even look at Grindr and then after about a year, I logged back in and I reached out to one of the people. I didn't know many of the people I had been before I was diagnosed. I didn't, most of them were just, one night stands, and there's a couple people that I thought might be at risk of contracting it, but only one I could really reach out to, and reach out to him, and he didn't get it, so that was a big weight off my shoulders. But then, I had to prove to myself that I could still find sexual partners, so I had sex with people that were, like 2 or 3 people that had HIV and probably 5 people that didn't have HIV after I was diagnosed. And then it just got, like the rejections got old, and the fun just was out of it. But so I had to prove to myself that I still could, and no, I don't regret it, Diane. I think I had my reasons for doing it, and I don't even know who I contracted it from. I have suspicions, but I try to remain educational, but it's hard not to and try to be informative, but it's hard not to sense some of the judgment in some of the questions. Maybe it's me assuming, but yeah, I think I am just assuming. Like, I don't know, like the whole opening up the marriage. After our second kid was born, my wife really, like slipped into postpartum depression, and then it turned into like severe alcoholism. She was like drinking a liter of vodka a day, but and just like was really cruel, and we hadn't had sex for a year, and she knew I was bisexual before we were even a couple, but and then so she knew that I was bisexual, so she knew kind of what she had signed up for. Like, then she found me, or I was openly masturbating to gay porn, and she gave me a hard time about that, and that was kind of my last straw. I was fine masturbating, and I could have gone on, not having sex, but then to try to take that away from me, to take masturbation away from me, it was just that was my last straw. And so then it was not long after that I told her I wanted to open up the marriage, and I wish things in our marriage had been different. But, I don't know, all the things that happened were what make me who I am today, and I'm not going to regret who I am. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Terry. Good night, Christian. Thank you, Diane. Yeah, thanks for being here, Matthew. I should get to bed myself. It's already 2:10. Did I drop my smile? It's hard to decipher tone from from comments, and my own I have my own sensitivities, I guess. I get I don't know what the word is. I get defensive telling my story sometimes, I think. Where I think people might have negative, where I assume people might have negative feelings about me. I look for them, I guess. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Joe. Love you too. You're welcome, Paulette. I appreciate the questions. I do. I think it's important to be able to. I really like the fact that I can tell people about You Equals You, and that you took the time to listen, and who knows, maybe you'll even tell other people about that. And I really like that concept of the ripple effect of the show, because there's still so many people that don't know about You Equals You, and there's just I think, and there's just so much stigma around the virus still, and yeah, I don't know if yeah, I don't know. Well, I think I always like this quote from Mr. Rogers, something about the greatest gift you can give to another person is the gift of yourself, your authentic self. If you two, Diane, Paulette, or anybody that's new tonight, if you come back on Friday night, I'll watch for you and I'll give you a proper shout out. I give pretty cool shout outs, if I don't say so myself. People come back and beg for them, so. Steve Contreras, hello. there's some good information about. Let's see if I can put some in the comments here. Maybe I'll do it after the show. It's partner study, and then what are the other ones? It's partner one. Between partner and partner one, the couples had sex 58,000 times without transmitting the virus. And then I don't know what other studies are. I can't think of the other name of the study. There's one that just came out recently that followed all gay couples. Okay, so partner one followed, I think, so partner two followed 800 gay couples for 8 years, and without a single transmission. I don't want to say partner one followed, it doesn't say here. Good night, Jessica. I don't know what I'm doing here. Sorry. All right, I think I'm going to look at the comments here to see if there's anything urgent you guys wanted to discuss. And then, yeah, if you guys have any more questions. Is there a stigma of the amount of partners? Depends who you're talking to, I think. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know, I think I'm a sex positive person, and I am really against sex shaming, so there's no judgment here. But I think there's some people that, I think most people are just lucky they didn't contract something, because all it takes is one time. But there's, I think the best way to protect yourself, there's more protections you can take too, I suppose, but they're not 100% anyway. Condoms, especially for other infections besides HIV, they can be spread, without, even when somebody's using a condom. But I think the best thing is to be, if you're engaging in high-risk behavior, to be on PrEP, and then if you choose not to use condoms, getting tested every 3 months, whether you choose condoms or not, getting tested every 3 months, and everything besides HIV is eminently treatable or curable. And there's other factors that there was just a study that sex workers that don't use condoms are more resistant to HIV. Like there's something about repeated exposure to semen that makes the vagina I forget exactly the mechanism, but they were able to describe the mechanism too about how it so just semen acts as a natural protectant against HIV. And I think there's probably some people that are more susceptible to the virus. I think we all change over time, Mary Lee. Hey, Nishchala. Did you look up, or were you just hearing me describe the different partner studies? I don't know if you already said this. Partner 1 followed couples like my wife and I, and partner 2 followed partner 2 followed couples like my wife and I, and one was HIV, one's living with HIV like me, and the other one's not. Or is HIV negative, and it's 1,500 couples, 800 gay, 700 straight. I already said this all. I don't know if plenty. There's like the people that they call them non-progressors, elite controllers too. I think they call them people who contract the virus but maintain an undetectable viral load and can't transmit the virus. I'll see you. I can't wait to hear the news, Nick. Hey, Devontae. Missed you too. Kia ora, Clint. Oh, I've always been bi, Donna. Even when I never had sex with a man, or now that I'm not. I have effectively a closed marriage now, a monogamous relationship, just because we never fully discussed closing it, but I just stopped looking for other partners. But I always, I'm still attracted to both men and women, but I masturbate mostly to gay porn, though. Hey, babe. That's always been the case. I know I definitely still am attracted to women. I've never heard about that, Mary Lee.
Hey, are the dishes clean in here?
Yeah.
Do you know offhand, Jace?
I said yeah.
Oh, okay.
Although I do believe sexuality is fluid, I think, for the most part, I think there's some sexuality is partly innate, like you're born being attracted to certain things, but then I think it's also learned too. I feel like, aversion is something that's also learned. Like, I don't think anybody's born saying, oh, I hate penis or I hate vagina. That's something that, that we're taught by society to like homophobic society. So I think you can, you can leave
sorry, I wasn't.
that. But I think you can learn to be attracted to. I don't know. I always like to say everybody's bi if you catch them on the right day. I wouldn't say embrace is the right word. She participated in it. Hey, Jeanette Atrill, thank you for your support. I say that partly tongue in cheek, but I think most people like, like for their partner or something. If you, like if it meant, like if there's like some gorgeous woman, you only could have sex with her if it was a threesome. I think there's quite a few guys that would say, if there was a woman that he was really attracted to, I don't know. I think for most people, sexuality is more fluid than they're willing to admit. Like if people weren't taught that aversion, I think even more people would be curious. We're not allowed to be curious here. No, she's not from another country. And and I think that's probably true too. I think sexuality is on a spectrum, and then there's like the very few people that are going to be all the way straight or all the way bisexual or all the way gay. I think there's like most people are going to fall somewhere in the middle there. And so I think, there are exceptions probably prove the rule. When I say everyone's bi, it's the exceptions that prove the rule. If people are being honest, 100% honest. Hey, Angela Stafford. Yeah, my wife has a more distinct Wisconsin accent than I do. I think it's she's from Milwaukee area. I don't know if that's why. Yeah, my wife has a more distinct Wisconsin accent than I do. I think it's she's from Milwaukee. I have more of a polished Midwestern accent. I heard that phrase once. All right. I think it's about bedtime. Thank you all for listening. It was a really engaging night. One that pushed me towards the edges of my comfort zone, so that's always healthy. All right. So you might be wondering what the show is about. People often wonder what the show is about. The premise is deceptively simple. I take my HIV medication. Oh, happy birthday, Nishchala. Very happy birthday to you. I take my HIV medication live on the Book of Face each day. Thanks for the friend request, by the way, too. I take my HIV medication live on the Book of Face each day in front of friends, family, and strangers. Good night, Rose. Thanks for being here. In front of friends, family, and strangers, I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance, and find support. If I'd have people take only one thing away from this show, it would be the knowledge that HIV is preventable. If you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. Hey, Gene. I'm doing all right. If you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. They call it PrEP or pre-exposure prophylaxis. The pill is Truvada, and if you're HIV negative, you take it once a day, and it works like a highly effective chemical condom. It prevents HIV. But if you're already HIV positive like me, treatment is prevention. By taking my medication every day and maintaining an undetectable viral load, it makes it so I'm not contagious. You equals you. Undetectable equals untransmissible. You could fuck me bareback all day long, and all night long too, because I'm a stallion, and never catch HIV from me. It's a brave new world. The future is now, and it's 1969. Free love. Woo! All right. Pill number 1044. Oh, it's time to order a new bottle of pills. Pill number 1044 down the hatch. We are robot. All right, it's down the hatch. Happy birthday again, Nishchala. Thank you all for being here. Come back tomorrow. I'll have more ideas for you. You'll have things you want to talk about, and so will I. But alas, now it's time to say goodbye. Mwah.